Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.
We are live. Welcome to the Market Update Show. I'm your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto and you need to make money in crypto, then subscribe to this channel. Also, you can check out our sponsor, tokenmetrics.com. Now, I'm going to give people a little bit of time to join the stream. In the meantime, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button if you like the content and you like us. All right, let's see who's joining us here. We're a little off schedule, and again, we appreciate your understanding. Silent Sandal, Jermaine, first on the stream. Taz, Saijan, Seb, Outlier, Tommy D, Eddie P, Roberto, Chris from Cyprus, welcome. Wax, let's go. Omar, how you doing? Seb, Donna, Gideon. All right, guys, welcome to the stream. Always feel free to randomly shoot in there where you're coming from. Darwesh from Saudi Arabia. Welcome to the show. So I always like to see where people are coming from. London, okay, all over the world. We appreciate your viewership. Now, here's what we're going to do today. Going to continue with this, conversational kind of format, right? As we welcome Manchester, Scarborough, England, India and Canada, Brazil, the Czech Republic, Ohio, right? Florida, coming from broke. Let's fix that. Nigeria. All right, so we're going to go with this kind of conversational format. Right? I'm going to do the market update, and I'm going to do the best to take your questions. Okay, so without further ado, here is your market update. Now, we are going to do a 3-day tactical plan, right? Because we're coming up on a big inflection point where the crypto is going to bounce and go up, or, it's going to, get dragged down by equities. Okay. So as Montreal, Malaysia, and Cyprus come on, here is your market update. What's working for crypto? Okay, dollar index, DXY, weekly, big red candle lower. Now, it has retested support from the October 2020 high. So while the dollar may have given crypto a boost, really it's going to depend on what happens at that prior ceiling. The dollar goes below that prior ceiling, that could be an absolutely bullish catalyst for crypto. But it's wait and see. Now, what's not wait and see is the fact that fear is back in crypto, right? Bitcoin at 43K and fear greed from Twitter is way over on the fear side at 21. So people are still afraid, rightly so, given how equities trade. Now let's look at Bitcoin. We're taking a trend line focused approach today to give you some variety. I've got the intersection of two big trend lines, one drawn off a low in July and another one connecting a low in December. That's the one that goes this way. And then there's the downward sloping one connecting the mid-November highs and the mid-December highs. Those two trend lines intersect at 46K on January 16th. So it seems to me to be somewhat logical to expect an attack of 46K next week, right? We got to hold on for dear life today and Friday probably, but I'm guessing next week it'll be more positive, right? And then from there, we'll judge whether it's a 3-day or a 3-month rally. If it's a 3-day rally or you think it might be a 3-day rally, or you're uncomfortable with your positions, okay, that rally over the next 3 days, assuming we get it, is a time to reduce or shift positions around. So I'd love it if crypto took off, but if all you get is a 3-day rally, you better have a plan on how you reduce risk. Now let's talk about the tactical setup. So if you're watching this video a month from now or even a week from now, this chart may not be relevant. So this is the 89-minute chart of Bitcoin. I like 89 because it's a fib number. Okay, 42K was the high of the prior range that we've been in, for most of January. So it seems logical for Bitcoin, after breaking through that, to come down and scare people and test 42K, right? Seems to make sense. So let's wait and see. If Bitcoin holds 42K, it could go to 46. Okay, it could be a 3-day rally. Okay, it could be more than that. But in the short term, which is where I think you got to stay focused, 42K has got to hold. Okay, Ethereum, same deal, right? Go up, break out, and then come back down and scare everyone, right? People are scared. Every time it goes down, everyone goes, oh, understandable. But a lot of times, the best trades are the toughest trades, and I'm hoping for something bullish next week. Now, if 3250, and going back to the Bitcoin chart, if 42K doesn't hold, then, there may be a deeper sell-off, and next week may just be like a small bullish bounce, right? I don't have a crystal ball, but I am working off these charts, and so should you, right? Now, let's talk about NEAR. So before I do that, let's welcome Mexico. Bought BTC on 34K, then 50K and 50. What now? Okay. Well, I mean, if your average is around 44 or 45, then you got to take a look at whether or not you want to hodl it. Okay. Oh, right. You want to hodl it and then ask yourself, if it fails at 46K, can I handle it going back to 34K? If the answer is no, reduce your risk. Okay. Now, if it breaks above 46K, then, you can just let it run. But you got to trade tactically in this environment. You have to, right? Especially for my friend Cool C in Southern California. Okay, let's talk about NEAR, something everybody is talking about. We brought this up at 9. We saw everyone get stopped out at 6, and then it took off, right? And now you're pissed because you may have missed it, right? I get it. You're pissed. Now, the question is, should you FOMO in? Should you FOMO in? The answer is no, you shouldn't. Okay. If anything, all right, you should be looking to take money off the table. You should be looking to take money off the table in NEAR. Now, next week, if it's bullish, could NEAR go parabolic and go up to 30? Oh, yeah, it could. It could. All right. Or, you're kind of looking at a blow off top where the bid might switch from NEAR to other groups. If you were long NEAR, I would take a part of your position off the table and let the rest of it run. If you're a trader and a gambler and it breaks above 19 and comes back and holds, then I think, you could do a trade to get involved, especially if it was a bullish environment, right? But NEAR is doing what AVAX did, where the whole market goes down and NEAR goes up. So let's break it down. 1, a parabolic to 30 is possible. 2, I would not chase this. 3, if I owned it, I would take some risk off the table. If you get the parabolic, you get the parabolic. If you want to day trade it and it's above 19, well, you can try to day trade it. But, the worst thing you can do is wreck your head just because you missed it, right? Don't buy something because you missed it. Sometimes you just have to let it go, and there may be an opportunity to get this at a lower price. Okay, so Sanjeet bought some NEAR yesterday, right? So he's got a little bit of room, right? If it continues to go up. So like if you bought it 3 days ago, you could put the stop, below your entry price, and you could try to let it run. But if you've been holding NEAR since 9, right, you got to pay yourself in case, this is the blow off top in NEAR. So again, if you long it, take some risk off the table. If you want to trade it, you can trade it on a breakout above 19. If you missed it, don't worry. There'll be another trade. Just let it go. Okay. Phantom, similar situation, right? TVL and Phantom is like, going parabolic as of the time I saw it yesterday, right? I think there's resistance in Phantom at 342. So the time to buy Phantom was on the dip, not on strength. Like if you've bought Phantom on strength since the middle of October, okay, you've gotten maybe a little bit gratification, but you eventually got hosed, right? There was a rally in late October to 370. There was another uptick in mid-November that failed, right? And I don't want you to get caught again. Is Phantom awesome? Sure. Okay. If you missed it, you missed it, right? There are other trades out there, and you may get to buy some of this stuff cheaper. Remember when Luna was at 100 and everybody, was like all mental because they couldn't comprehend that they missed it. Now it went to 70 and no one's talking about it, but we will later. Okay, let's talk AVAX. This is AVAX Tactical. Now, I thought AVAX would have been an awesome buy at 73. That's where I thought it was going, all right? And then AVAX stopped on a trend line at 84. I'm getting more into trend lines lately. Okay. Yes, Christian wants me to look at AVAX and Rune. I'm going to look at both. Don't worry. All right. So 84 held, and then I have resistance at 97. So if AVAX can break out above 97, it can go to 130. But if AVAX tries to break out and kind of fails or doesn't really get anything going, right, then, you have to adjust your risk accordingly. My idea would be to buy a dip in AVAX, like say today, and put the stop below 84. That's how I would do it. That's if you can't control yourself, you're like, oh my God, I have to get in. Realistically, I want to buy it at 73. That's what I would do. I would hold out for a better price, right? Figuring that, layer ones always give you these really good flushes. Now, that said, if you want to get long AVAX, and I don't blame you, because AVAX has got everything from DeFi, NFTs, and our guys have discovered that they may even have the technical capabilities for security tokens, all right? So if AVAX takes out 97, it could go up. And this is a better trade, I think, than chasing Phantom and Near, because that stuff's already at its high, right? Like AVAX is still kind of like where it corrected. So, I'd like AVAX to prove itself, but I think AVAX, not investment advice, is a better trade than Phantom and Near. Like Phantom and Near may blow off, right? But, I want to buy stuff when it's down. And if I can't get it when it's down, then walk away. Because if you've bought strength in this market this year, or even since November, you have gotten hosed. Now let's talk about Solana. So doing some trend line work in Solana, 162 looks like the key level. Okay. I am not particularly excited about Solana, right? I think the trade is going to be focused on ETH, AVAX, Near, and Phantom, and possibly on a renaissance in some of the small components of DeFi, right? In other words, Bank of America on Wall Street recommended Solana yesterday. Now that caused Solana to go up, and of course, Solana can go higher, right? I mean, Solana is beaten up, and if you're like, all right, what am I going to hold for the next 2 years? You can look at Solana. But if you're trading it tactically, right, you want to see a break above 162 and kind of that bump and run, right? See it break out, return, and that's when you get long if that happens, right? So, keeping the picture to the 3-day plan, if the market's going to rally for more than 3 days, right? In other words, if there could be like a kind of a maybe late winter, springtime rally in crypto, you'll know, because something like Solana will take off, right? Now, of course, it's better to buy Solana on a bump and run at 162 than it was to buy Solana FOMOing in at 220. So the Solana chart is good as a lesson for anybody who thinks, oh my God, I missed near and phantom and I'm an incomplete human being unless I chase it. No. All right. Read your tactical pivots. Okay. Yearn Finance log scale. I had to check myself before I wrecked myself. Now, Yearn Finance, 41K. I do believe that Yearn has changed his tokenomics. That said, I think a confirmation that a mega uptrend is starting has to be a break above either 41 or 48. Now, if you're buying a small dip today and you're going to like dip your toe in, that's okay, right? But the real confirmation that I need to start buying like, every dip, right? Also confirmation that maybe crypto can run because, Yearn's not going to go up all by its lonesome for an extended period of time. Well, that's possible, but I don't think so, right? You want to see the market tell you, yeah, this is good. So you get Yearn above 48, it's like, yeah. Or above 41, it's like, yeah, pretty good, right? You need to look and listen in the next 3 days. Now let's talk about Chainlink. Chainlink looks like a bump and run, right? It looks like it broke the trend line, it comes back down, and up it goes, right? If there was a chart that I could put up and say, where is evidence that an uptrend is possible, right? Or are there cases where DeFi coins, which we'll talk about later, so don't go anywhere, right? What happens if Chainlink dips to 24.75 and then turns out and is a rocket to either 37 or 52? If there was a case for a rally that lasted more than 3 days, it's Chainlink. So if the Link Marines are out there within earshot of this broadcast, get busy, guys. Get busy. Because I think if Chainlink holds 24.75, you can see 37, right? Now, maybe that's not all in one day, but, I'm rooting for Chainlink to hold up here and rally. All the token metrics AI indices have got Chainlink as of right now. So if DeFi interoperability, right? Because that's why NEAR's going up. It's a layer 1 with layer 0 characteristics. So DeFi layer 1s with interoperability are something to take note, and that all benefits Chainlink. Polkadot, Heartbreaker, right? If I could sing that old song, Heartbreaker, I would. Honestly. Sanjeet is saying, should I add some Link? Okay. I get it. I can't give you investment advice, but, if you were going to buy the dip, okay, it makes sense to buy the dip in coins that are Token Metrics AI likes. If you don't have a subscription to Token Metrics, get one. Megan says both DOT and ADA are getting on my nerves. They're getting on mine too, right? Because Polkadot, every time it goes up, it kind of fails. You get these like, $3 rallies and you're like, okay, here we go. And then it stops. So otherwise, this interoperability trade may be somewhere else. And Polkadot may be one of these things where you have to buy it, stake it, and just, hope it doesn't go back to 10, right? I'm not giving up on Polkadot, but let's face it, folks, we got to see some upside, particularly with other interoperability plays doing well. Okay, now Sandbox, I'm showing a resistance trend line at 522. Couple points here. One, it does not pay to FOMO in on big up days. You see some coin up 15%, you're like, oh my God, I missed it. You may have missed some of it, but you should buy the next dip, especially if there's resistance. So you may be able to get Sandbox all the way back down at 430 if it's not a good week after next week, right? So don't buy resistance, right? Don't, because that has not paid. It's paid to buy dips after something hits resistance. Okay, Luna. Now, let's talk about this. So nobody wanted to talk about it at 56. Everybody was talking about it at 100. Okay. Now it's at 70 something and everyone's forgotten about it. So yesterday was a big up day. It did break a trend line and it's coming back and retesting it around 79. So if Luna holds 79, I think risk reward based on this simple trend line would indicate that, you know, in the high to mid 70s, Luna might be a buy for a rotation back to 104. Why not? Right? I mean, again, if it was at 100, it went to 68 and then it's broken out, this is the type of play that I would consider because you can put the stop back below the trend line. You know, if you're risking $4 to make 30, then that makes sense, right? Okay, now let's talk about Ryan is talking about Rune, right? I also think that there are other plays like Rune out there. Like, look what's going on with the Rari governance token. This was originally created by a bunch of 18-year-olds. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, not investment advice, okay? This is merging with Tribe, okay? This could be a sleeper in DeFi, right? Money could pour into DeFi if stocks go down, right? The only place to get an interest rate or yield that's better than inflation is in DeFi. That's probably why Phantom is rallying, because total value locked is rising there. And I'm noticing the whole market's going down. You know, everyone's afraid, and Rari governance token's up like 10% second day in a row. Okay. I've seen this token move, and it can move. Now, don't buy a 10% up day necessarily, but these are things that you got to start focusing on. All right. Rune, again, up 2 days in a row, dipping back to support at $6.41. All right. You know, can you buy the dip? Should you? Okay. I don't know. Okay, I don't know, but I do like Rune as a long-term sleeper. So if I'm going to get it, let's get it at a good price at 641. So not investment advice, but dip buying in some of these like DeFi, DeFi sleeper plays is the way to go. Now let's talk about this. We recently did some research about an anonymous guy named Redphone Crypto that, sort of offered his version of the future. And I believe one of the things he was talking about was AnySwap. Okay, so this has gone from $15 to $30 in 1 day, all right, or 3 days. But things like AnySwap, cross-chain trading. These are things that you have to research. I saw the token metrics grade, the daily grade on this token is obviously improving as the momentum trade starts. We all know what happened. Uniswap, 1 inch, even the Coinbase IPO where that traded, right? Anybody who can figure out the cross-chain trading mechanism and wallets is going to go up even if the market is going down. So do your own research, but this chart to me has got my attention. Now, speaking of getting your attention, all right, our managing editor, Dylan, and I went through the Redphone Cryptos deck for themes for this year. And one of the themes in there is, given full credit, DeFi and a renaissance of money pouring into the systems and DeFi interoperability plays or DeFi sleeper coins being prevalent. So get on over to our YouTube page and check out these podcast episodes, right? I know we broke it down. We kind of talked about each slide, right? So we tried to add value on top of his value. right? His themes are really interesting, and I actually recommend that you look at our research about his research. So not investment advice on any particular altcoin, but if you got some time this weekend, check that out. Now, equities. Have to talk about legacy, even if it's annoying. Personally, I think the Federal Reserve is going to have to raise rates and be more aggressive between now and July 4th. The Federal Reserve cannot be seen wrecking the world before the election in the United States in November. So, inflation has probably topped. Everyone's saying inflation hasn't been high since 1982, right? Now, back in 1982, interest rates were at 15%, right? So 7% inflation wasn't a disaster because the interest rates were so high, it was going to crush the inflation. Right now, interest rates are at 0. So the Federal Reserve is going to have to print less money or do something. Now, what they do, I don't know. That could cause money to flow out of equities into crypto. But if I was an equities portfolio manager, I would be headed for the door. Oh, wow, you guys want to give me a rally and we're like, what? What is it, like 3-4% off its all-time high? What's crypto? Like 40% off its all-time high. I am exiting in stocks, as in adios, see you in October. Okay, look at QQQ, right? This is probably what's spooking Bitcoin today, right? This is a nasty diamond formation. You could call it the blood diamond, okay? This thing goes up, okay, chops around, breaks down, returns, and then starts going down again, all right? This to me means people are coming out of tech stocks, most likely into Bitcoin next week. Is that a one-day trade, a 3-day trade, or a 2-month trade? We'll see. Don't go anywhere. Subscribe to this channel. And if you like this content, please hit the like button. All right. But make sure you stay subscribed to this channel and make sure you get over to tokenmetrics.com and do some business. Because if it is a 3-day or 3-month rally, either way, finding the altcoins like Chainlink that can go up, even if the market is, choppy, okay, will suit you. In the meantime, again, equities, wow, right? I'm headed for the door. Okay, ARK Innovation. This is highly speculative tech stocks run by Kathy Woods, a controversial portfolio manager. This is an ETF, a fund that you can trade like a stock. Now, if you don't understand that, that's cool. It's like the altcoin of the stock market or the altcoin fund of the stock market. And as you can see, right, it returned to a prior floor. It ran up and failed where I got that price action circled. So people are still selling. And the overarching formation is the bowling ball thrown out of a window formation, right? The bowling ball goes out the window. It hits a windowsill or a bump on the building and then see it. Okay. The altcoins of the stock market are in trouble. The only question is, are people going to flow into crypto or will crypto have to feel the pain along with it? Either way, stock portfolio managers are headed for the door. Okay. Banks have done well recently, but I did notice at Goldman Sachs, a big investment bank, there's a complex head and shoulders top right at the top of the range in this particular stock. So frequently, as investment banks go, as big tech stocks go, so does the stock market. So this doesn't look as bad as ARK does, but it's a little bit scary because, again, the Federal Reserve cannot leave rates at 0 and cannot print money indefinitely, not with inflation at 7%. So the issue isn't where's inflation going. The issue is how far and how hard does the Federal Reserve have to jam on the brakes between now and July? Okay, that's why the first thing I said to you is if there's a rally, okay, you have to decide whether or not you're going to make position adjustments. I'm cheering for the 3-month crypto rally, but I'm also realistic about what's going on with equities and the Fed. All right. 10-year government bond interest rates, we've talked about this. So let me keep it simple. People want out of, or they should, based on the Fed, they want out of stocks and into bonds, even though that's a little ironic, right? Interest rates, yields on 10-year government bonds have risen high enough to probably attract capital. People in equities need to go somewhere safe. Now, that could include crypto. It could include Bitcoin. It could definitely include small cap or small DeFi coins that are making a renaissance like Chainlink or Yearn, maybe even Aave, or any DeFi coins that show up where? In token metrics. Okay? So if money moves from equities into crypto, that's good, right? You got to be there for that trade. Hopefully, crypto doesn't get dragged down. Hopefully, crypto is okay until March, right? Nobody's going to be okay for sell in May and go away, but we don't know if it's going to be a 3-day move or a 3-week or 3-month move. Okay? So let's go over this. Legacy, stocks, and bonds, pretty good. Okay? Crypto, pretty good. Short term, right? Bitcoin, pretty good. Okay? DeFi altcoins, pretty good. Okay? How long does it stay pretty good? Don't go anywhere. Tune in next week. And that is the market update. All right. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring up my chart program. And I saw somebody like frantically asking for Sol. So let's take a look at some symbols. Don't pour everything in there all at once. All right. Bill, were you a teacher last life? Excellent teaching skills. Megan, thank you. I actually was a tutor for both undergraduate kids at Rutgers, where I went to school, and I tutored the University of Texas football team that won the national championship back in 2004. I was their tutor when they were freshmen. So that was an interesting experience. All right. I want to take that experience and try to help you as best as I can. So let's get the chart program chugging up here, right? And let's see what I can get going. All right, people, stay with me. Okay, so I saw Rose. People were asking for Rose. Let's take a look. Let's see what's going on. That's not Rose. All right. Let's check it out. Check it out. Rose. Okay. All right. So here you have your layer 1 parabolic. Okay. You had your resistance at 43 cents and you have kind of a top. All right. So everyone missed it, right? Everyone is kicking themselves because it went from 35 cents to 55 cents. Okay. I guess if it moons monstrously, and I've completely underestimated what this can do, it can go to 86 cents. So here's what I would do. If I owned this, I would be taking money off the table, not investment advice. You don't want to get caught holding something that just did like a moon formation. Now, if it's going to go higher, it'll probably retest 43 cents before it does that. All right. The thing that's funny about, coins like this is a lot of times it can pay to buy them on some kind of trend line. Maybe the buy point is at 32 cents. Or if it's a parabolic, you buy it after it retests the support at 43, right? So there's 43 cents and 32 cents as support. There's resistance. So if you're a Rose Moon Boy, you're looking at 86 cents. But again, I would be careful about FOMOing into anything. Look, folks, if you missed it, you missed it, right? Don't chase stuff and get wrecked, right? This market has been giving people an opportunity to get long. It gave you an opportunity in rows to get long, right? Okay, let's check out Sol. Okay, so very interesting chart here. Very, very interesting chart. Okay, it's got a steady uptrend to it. This is Sol versus Bitcoin. That's not what I want. So if you like this content and you're okay with the fact that, you know, it takes me a second to get the chart up, appreciate your patience, everybody. Okay, so here's Sol, NFTs and gaming. Okay. So the big question is this a double top? Okay, we don't know. We don't know. But let's see if I can get a trend line on this so we can figure out like where the buy point is. So in Sol, I would think the buy point would be at 287. Okay. I'm just not chasing anything in this market. Like I get that there are all these good layer one plays out there, but if you're staring down a double top, right, and there's a trend line at 287 that's held a bunch of times, that's where it would go. Now, if you want the Moon Boy target, you know, the level above the market is at 630. So, you know, unless I work for a crypto company, so I would love it if, you know, near went to 32, Sol went to 630. But I think as a responsible analyst, you know, I've got to tell you that dip buying has been more profitable. Now, if I was holding this, okay, you could take some money off the table. But, you know, if you're holding it and it's not collapsing, right, it's holding above the trend line, you could definitely hold on to this, right? If you want to get a dip to 287, yeah. But if you're like, oh my God, chart this because I missed it and I can't sleep because I missed it. No, 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 no. Okay, I did see. Okay, let's take a look at Moon River. Okay, so we looked at this yesterday. Okay, all I can see is everybody's selling an uptick. All right, right where the prior floor was. So I think Moon River has to be above 197. Okay, Rip Curls wants Ecomi. Take a look. Wow. Okay. Interesting. All right. So this is an example. This is an example, all right, of something that we haven't seen much of lately, right? It's this idea of this consolidation formation. So when I look at Ecomi, it's possible that this is a fundamental shift, right? In other words, I'm not buying this at the top of a parabolic run-up. It's actually kind of in the middle of a range, looking like, you know, it wants to like do something, you know, and get going. So if we do some basic trend line analysis, I would say you could get more bullish on this if it actually managed to take out. See if I got that right. If I got this right, stay with me, people. Right? 0.0066, right? So it's got a little bit more work to do, right? I wouldn't FOMO into a trend line, right? What I would do, again, it's this whole idea of the bump and run. I'd wait for it to get above the trend line, come back to the trend line, then do it, right? But if you were hodling this, don't touch it. Leave it, right? Leave it. Because if this thing breaks out, I mean, yeah, it's at the higher end of its range, but anything that's got that push while the market is down could be an indication of a fundamental shift. Just listen to the market. All right? Just listen to the market. All right. Let's see what's going on. All right, let's see. We did Rose. Let's do Cardano. Another heartbreaker. Cardano, the heartbreaker, folks. Can we take it anymore? Okay. So, as you can see here in Cardano, Cardano is experiencing the polka dot formation where every rally seems to be getting sold, right? Boom. Somebody's drawing a trend line. Someone's going, I'm getting out of my Cardano right there. So something has to change, right? Cardano's got to break out. I mean, it's cool that it's holding support near $1.20. So if you're like, well, I totally believe in this, obviously you would grab it at a dip at $1.20. But if you're holding out hopes because you're trapped above, right? Which, people get trapped, bad trades happen, right? In order for Cardano to go up, there's going to have to be a catalyst, right? Because it looks like anybody who can draw a trend line is using that trend line to get out. That said, Cardano is at bargain basement prices. In other words, if value investing is on your mind, watch this chart. If you're trapped, watch this chart, right? You want to see evidence that the bulls are in charge, okay? AXS, I believe that's Axis Infinity. Okay, I suspect I'm looking at the same deal here, right? Someone's drawn a trend line, right? Or trying to draw a trend line. All right, stay with me. Stay with me. Maybe it's on a lower time frame. So let's take the time frame down to like 4 hours. So if you're watching this a month from now, this won't be any good necessarily because we're looking at a 4-hour trend line. Okay. Draw it, draw it, draw it. Okay. So realistically, I think you got to see Axie Infinity or AXS, really above 78 because it's kind of rejecting this trend line. And they definitely don't want to be buying stuff that's either mooned or at resistance or something that's, just rallied back up to resistance and is failing, right? In other words, you got to ask yourself, if this thing goes up here, fails, and then next week something terrible happens or later in the month and it winds up in 60, can you tolerate that? Now, obviously, if it breaks out and does this, that would be really constructive. But you got to get that bump and run type of breakout above these trend lines, right? This market ebbs and flows. It's not like, oh, you buy it and it goes up 100x immediately and then you buy your Lambo. Some coins are doing that, but most aren't. Most have an ebb and flow to it. All right. Now let's see what else we got here in the chat. By the way, y'all, if y'all like this format, feel free to leave a comment or just hit the like button. We actually keep track of that. Okay, let's see. Someone was asking for Oct. I'm not totally familiar with that. I don't know if that's a stable coin or not. No, I don't seem to have it. Okay. QANX. Only got that token versus wrapped Ether. Okay. UTK. I think someone was asking for that yesterday. Okay. UTK I do have. So let's check that out. Okay. All right. UTK. All right. So one thing you have to be careful of, particularly in this market, is what I call this, I call it the double spike, right? In smaller altcoins, if you see one spike up, okay, and then another spike up, that could be smart money or internal people unloading, right? And all you see are these wicks where every time it goes up, somebody's unloading on it. Now, what I normally tell people, in these coins is, it seems all right that it's making kind of like maybe a diagonal consolidation. But realistically, the way these trades usually unfold is, somebody goes, oh, I give up, right? And if it's going to go up, that's how it works, right? Unless there's a fundamental shift. So overall, I'm very skeptical of altcoins when I see what I call the double spike. All right, so I think I got that covered. Okay, let's try SYN. Someone asking for that. All right, I don't have that particular coin. Oh, someone's asking for sushi. Oh, and I also see someone asking for Cadena. So let's do Cadena first. All right, because I know y'all love that. Okay, getting it up here on the screen. Stay with me. Okay, so this is interesting. All right. It's a good example. All right. It's got a story, right? We know this is a layer one with a story. We know that because it absolutely mooned last year, right? Okay, that's probably your trend line, right? So $10.80 is where it's got to get above. Now, here's how I play this. If you were holding it, all right, and it holds support at 9.5, because this is more than likely a liquidity event, okay, down here, see this? This is everyone giving up. So everyone gave up there, right? Because, they puked it out below that prior low from December. So there was a liquidity event, right? But it's running into sellers on the way up. So again, like I've been saying, in order for this to be good, you need to break out, retest, and go. If you don't get breakout, retest, and go, I would say leave it alone. Right? Now, if there's a huge breakout or a fundamental shift, you'll know and you can adjust your tactics accordingly, right? But, don't be afraid to say, all right, I'll buy a dip to 9.5 because I love it. That's reasonable. Or if I want confirmation, I'll wait for it to break out and come back basically to where it was this morning, right? And then I'll turn around and go with it then, right? You just want to make sure that whatever trade you do it as smart. You trade smart, okay? Let's take a look at sushi because I do believe sushi does have a long-term future, okay? All right, now, one thing that's really interesting about sushi is that notice how it's been green for like 3 days. This was all the way up at $10. I almost FOMO'd in. I wanted to, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to, because you know what? Every time I've tried to FOMO in, right? Look at these 3 arrows. There's Bill Noble. There's Bill Noble. There's Bill. That almost was Bill Noble. No, I didn't, right? But I'm like, I'm not going to FOMO in, but I'll never see sushi back at 6.5, right? It'll never happen, right? Wrong. Okay. Now, when you look at sushi, let's see if we can zoom in and see if we can garner any information as to what may be going on with this. Oh, look at this. Look at what we have here. Okay. Sushi. Okay. This is a little bit like ETH, right? They had this prior low here. Okay. Right around 718. Okay. And then there was this huge range, which could be the bigger the base, the higher in the space. Okay. And here's your bump and run, right? Here's what we were looking at. It goes up and then it comes back down. It retests the top, right? The ceiling becomes the floor. So if the market doesn't fall apart today, you know, this is bullish, right? Like remember when I was back with Chainlink? Think about it. Chainlink, Rari, Sushi, right? DeFi, ETH could hold. You could have a very decent rally next week, but you want to have these kind of setups, right? I think, right? Now, if you're like hodling stuff that we covered earlier, well, you can hodl. But when you trade, you want to make sure you can get the best trade location that you can. Okay, somebody's asking for Matic. Let's try that. Okay, so, Matic is tricky. Okay, it's got a very mature uptrend line. I have a really hard time believing that ETH is not going to need a layer 2. Although, nobody was bullish Matic all of last year. Nobody's been bullish Matic for a long time. And all of a sudden, I just seem to have noticed everybody's bullish Matic. It's funny, right? Like this coin was given up for dead. I was actually wondering myself. So as you can see, Matic was a great buy around 2. Okay. And so let's take a look at the short-term chart to see if we can get any information, because I think it's a market that's come to that. So if you're looking at the 89-minute bar of Matic, okay, so here we go, right? This is another DeFi coin that may be good, right? Because, or another layer 1, layer 2 solution coin rather, right? This was the old ceiling around 225. Okay, now it's holding here. Now, let me just, for laughs, let me just go back to some of these coins that we were looking at earlier, like Sol, on this 89-minute chart. Okay, so, for people who miss stuff, but who are going to do the trade anyway, no matter what I say, it's interesting that, again, you want to be looking at support on top of prior ceilings, right? So will Sol hold $3.34? So what you guys are watching now is you're watching me chart stuff. And as you're giving me the ideas, I'm like, oh, damn, we should be looking at 89-minute charts to see if the breakout and the return move holds, so that I'm talking about the rally next week. So now, even though, some of this stuff may be lofty, at least now you can navigate it. Okay. All right. XRP. Someone asking for XRP in there. XRP. Why not? Let's give the XRP army some love. We're wrapping it up here. Okay, this is a similar situation, right? Okay, you want to see, I don't know, let's call it 76 cents, right? So if you're looking to buy XRP, something like 76 cents might be the level. Now, conversely, if 76 cents does not hold, okay, not hating on XRP or anything, but if it doesn't hold and you get this, then you got to rethink your position, okay? If you're bullish, you want to see, here's the breakout, here's the return move, and then go. So I like some of these charts for a setup next week, right? I think you can play for a 3-day rally. Just play it smart, okay? That's it, people. That's it for today. I appreciate you, Token Metrics customers. We appreciate your business. Subscribe to this channel and stay tuned next week, right? Or stay tuned Friday, because I'll be here tomorrow. But Friday, Monday, and Tuesday could give you very important hints as to future crypto direction. Will crypto hold? Will Bitcoin rally even if equities are sour? Can crypto turn around and rally for 3 months? Are there DeFi coins out there that you need to look at that could go up as the market goes down? So Andre, Logan, Bobby, thank you for the love. King, it's the first time you've heard of 89 Minute. I'm happy to introduce you to it. Sanjeet, I appreciate the love, along with Andre, Logan, and Jerry. Folks, thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Bill Noble.